In this video, I'm going to talk about the process of setting up your ad zones on your website. So the first thing to do is you actually have to figure out what sizes you're going to be selling, what dimensions. And you actually go to the settings option here on AdvertServe, and you can define the different sizes. So AdvertServe comes preloaded with a bunch of different commonly used dimensions, and you can use any one of the ones over here. You can see the width and height dimensions specified. But if you want to create a new size, you just press this option, create new size. You're going to name it, my vertical banner. You're going to define a pixel size, let's say 600, let's say 300 pixels wide, but it's going to be 600 tall. It's going to be a vertical banner. You have to select a preset of what's going to be there by default, what's going to be the placeholder image. I suggest using a house ad for that. So because I don't actually have a ready-made, let's do the opposite. It's going to be 600 wide by 400 tall. I happen to have a placeholder for that one. Upload file. You can do the same process as uploading a banner. You go to upload file, choose file. Here I have a nice 600 by 400 ready. Selected, upload file, then select uploaded file, and here you're going to set a default redirect. Here too I'm going to define it to set to my own site.com, and that is going to be it. Now I've created that new size right over there. So now that this new dimension has been defined, or if I'm going to use one of the existing sizes, you head over to your zones area. The zone is the area on your website that you define that you want to show ads. So let's open up a sample website for a second. Just take a look at your own site. So here's going to be a sample news site. And I might say to myself, well, I want to have some banner ads on the side, and maybe I want to have another ad on top, and maybe a really big banner on the left. Okay, so that's going to be right off the bat 3 different ad zones that you're going to need to define. So you go back to here and you create a new ad zone. Let's call it sidebar zone number 1, and you're going to tell it that by default it should be keeping an eye out for 300 by 250 dimensions. So you now associated this zone with a certain dimension, and that's pretty much all you need for basics, and you create the zone. Now that your zone is created, you're going to generate some code and add that code to your website. Now we recommend using Ajax as the default code style, because what Ajax does is it allows your ads to load asynchronously, which means if somebody doesn't scroll to that part of the page, the ad won't be loaded. That means your pages load faster, and it also means that you're not charging your advertisers for ads that nobody actually saw. Ajax code requires 2 code implementations. You're going to add this code to the header part of your site, and then you're going to add the actual code in the area that you want to display. So you might log in, let's say this is a WordPress website, you might go in and to the widgets area on the sidebar of your site and just paste in the plain HTML area, you just paste in that this code right here, and as soon as you pasted it in, the ad should appear. Now there's a few interesting settings that I recommend taking a look at. First of all, generally speaking, you should always generate a secure code. This solves a lot of the issues that actually occur when you're trying to test out your ads. And another interesting thing is the ability to add comments, which will allow you to better understand what that zone is if you're ever looking at your website's code. And the third option, which is very useful, is the ability to display multiple ads at once. So let's say you want to be able to show 10 different ads here on the side, one after the other. Instead of having to paste in this code 10 times, you can just tell this to run 10 ads in a vertical layout of 1 column and have 6 pixels in between. Once you've configured all of these things, you can then generate the code, and you can see here the code has been updated. I have some more information. This is sidebar zone 1. It's serving HTTPS, which means it's secure, and it's actually set to display 10 ads in a vertical layout. This is highly useful for actually streamlining your integration of ads onto your website and configuring it. So you're going to paste this into your sidebar area and your website's dashboard, and it will start showing up to 10 ads at once and cycling through them the usual way. So there you have it. The process of creating a new zone requires first making sure that you have the right dimension set up, and then that you actually have your zone list over here. You can always go to your pre-existing zones that you defined and click on this icon. This little icon right here is the one you use to generate the code that goes on your site. You get a variety of different options to choose from. We recommend Ajax by default, and you can integrate a whole bunch of parameters over here. The first most important being displaying multiple ads and showing secure connections.